Hello, everybody, and welcome to the end of year holiday special. This is the Triple Triad podcast, and I'm your host, Emotempest. As always, here with the crew, I got Andy, Tacos, and Sergio. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hola, muchachos.
Yeah, we got a fun show. This is our end of the year wrap up show, guys. This is everything we're going to talk about. We want to look into Worlds, how Worlds was exciting. Most of it when we weren't sitting back and waiting for more Worlds. Wales Winter Cup also happened. We have a champion, a title champion in the group here. Sergio recently dubbed title champion hero. Right? Is that what they call you now?
I don't think that's the exact title, but you're in the ballpark for sure.
Cool.
He's at the hot dog stand.
He's at the hot dog stand.
He's at the hot dog stand. It's the eighth inning.
And yeah, we're just gonna wrap up our year with you guys and send us off into the new 2024 for happy fftcg. Want to continue to play and hope to continue all the goodness that we had this year. What do you say, boys? Should we get started?
We'll do a little caroling.
Post
We're at it.
All right. Well, first off, like we said, Worlds was quite a surprise, I think. We had just gotten Opus 21, I would say, 4 weeks before Worlds happened, right? We hadn't seen any tournaments. Everyone was kind of like not posting anything on FFdex. And I really didn't know what to expect when I saw it. I think Sergio said it best. Like, I don't think some of these decks were on my bingo card.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I don't know. I'll start with Andy. What did you think of the decks and what we saw, like, as a whole from the regions, right? Like, we had, everyone showed up, obviously, and everyone was playing different things. What did you think about the decks, Andy?
I like the way you put it. Man, Worlds was interesting to watch, aside from like the lack of actual playing, right? At least we can just like as a whole team, right? Just all together, we can just say that damn, that shit flew by pretty fast, right? We get that out of the way real quick. Yeah. Matches were fast or whatever.
Should we say it all at the same time, like in unison, just to knock it out?
Yeah, go ahead. Worlds.
Damn, that went by fast.
That was fast.
We got to work on our timing, but we got it.
Yeah. We're definitely not winning any cheer competition anytime soon. Go Toros. Anyhow.
Jason Toro?
Yeah. Shout outs to Jason Toro. Just straight up. Just fuck it. Why not? Random shout out. But that's for you, buddy. We love you. Thanks for listening.
Go Jason Toro.
I understood the reference, Andy. Don't worry about it.
All right, guys, and we'll be back with after a brief break. All right, thanks for listening. I'm Emotempest. That's Andy Carmona, and we are the Triple Triad podcast. We'll be right back. Nah, I'm just kidding. This isn't.
Dude, that was your best impression of Worlds yet.
Hopefully, that's what you guys can expect next year at Worlds.
It's gonna be a nice 2-hour break before the next segment.
Yeah,
2 hours break. That shit was crazy. And then they had to like pop up the security footage just to get another game on stream. That shit was hilarious.
the over the cam security footage. That was actually a hacked from someone's like Google Glasses. That's what you did.
Yeah, for sure. That was a new tech that they were trying to save for Final Fantasy 17. Where you could actually, you split view from like your parties, and like you're playing as one, but then instantly you could switch to another. But we don't talk about that. Square Enix, I'm sorry, but
I missed that when you can play the two party. Your team members have to go to separate places, and they have to play one arc.
Right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Okay.
Yeah. So the decks, Andy, go.
Worlds, decks, great. A lot of Warrior of Lights. Did we know about it? No, but who cares? We weren't going to Worlds. Well, they're not gonna call me and be like, "Hey, Andy, check out this Warrior of Light deck. What do you think? Huh? Needs more lightning cards? Nah, we're good. 3 drops all day. Nobody's gonna call me up. I'm a piece of shit. Nobody's gonna call me.
I would call you, Andy, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But for sure, always call Andy number 1.
But
he was number 1.
I was rooting for Evan because he was like the only one on Mono Lightning. As we figured, all right, like trademark deck, pet deck, it could bite you in the ass or it could perform really well. And it was, it did perform well leading up to Worlds, right? We saw it in Nats and it was doing really well. It was doing mono lightning things with a little bit of a new identity. But he did take the Scions version, if I'm not mistaken. And as I was already testing out stuff like that, it's just like in that sort of meta, the weakness is building your backups. Now, Scions can get away without doing that and still have some sort of board presence, which, you know, if I was a betting man, I'd say that maybe he had a couple games that looked like that, where he probably never reached no more than probably 3 backups. And then maybe on the aggressive side, if he saw a turn where he can catch his breath, where he doesn't need to deploy any more forwards because they're still on the field, then he can like start committing to a little bit more backups. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, against decks like that Warrior of Light stuff, the discard, right, Magissa, all that stuff, like Mono Lightning does not have time to set up backups. Like you need to just go, and they just don't have that same aggression with the value of forwards that are being played as these decks were catered to. So, and I really do like that across the board, everybody had like, if it wasn't like some crazy spice or whatever, like, you know, Matiski level deck or whatever, then it was like extreme aggro or just aggro that we're familiar with, right? Like I believe there was category 13 played by NA. Don't ask me to, I'm terrible with names, so unless you've been around for like years, you know, I don't remember the names.
We have the Will Coghill button, right? Press it, right? Ready, go.
Will Coghill.
Yeah. We have one of these at locals now. It says get Will Coghill.
Get Coghill.
Wait,
can I curse on here?
Didn't go because.
Can I curse on here?
Yes,
a little bit.
Bro,
get Coghill, bitch.
Yeah. Shout outs to Will Coghill for showing up and doing killer for and representing NA. Really strong. Hunter Nance as well.
There's 2 other people, sir. There's Ryan Chen.
I'm getting there. Hold on,
okay.
Relax. Oh well, and that's one of the things I was gonna say. Like, I wish we had been able to see all of their decks. Like, I know most of them like tweeted it, and I got to peek at some of like the rest of Japan's lists and you know the rest of the region's list. But I would have loved to see all of them, right? Just posted, or at least on another FF decks like slot. Just the rest of them. There's only 16 players, right?
Yeah, it's 16 players at Worlds. I forget decks. I wanted to see all 8 games at the same time. I wanted like all the cameras running at all moments so that I could see all 8 games. Because to see players of this level playing against each other like in such a small event, and obviously this is a completely unrealistic request, but man, I really wanted to see some of these matchups where it'd be like,
I mean, you knew you were catering to 16 people, and that was held in an office, right? You're telling me they don't have webcams and stuff that they can set up?
Office, dude. They were like in the hallway. Did you see like the camera footage and like the pictures? It looked like they were in the hallway.
Yo, shout out
like
to
they
Nan,
were outside.
Right? Nan was posting up all those pictures.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, I've never witnessed a live photo album. Like this thing is getting updated minute, like half an hour, right? Like
every round.
It was like Olympics coverage. It was very good.
Yeah,
very comprehensive.
Around, there was more stuff added to that album. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Never witnessed that before. It was a first for me. So thank you, Worlds. But yeah, so the decks I think were great, and this is my hot take on it though. Take it with a shot of nutmeg if you want. Eggnog, not nutmeg, eggnog. At the severity of aggression that these decks were displayed allowed NA to reach as far as it did. Like, I feel like if it was more like a concentrated mid-range meta, I don't think NA would have day 2'd or top 8'd or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think we do well in like an aggressive meta.
Sergio, what do you think about that? And then like backtrack to the decks and stuff.
All right, you've given me a lot of instructions there.
Go.
I don't know if I can keep up with that.
2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
Okay. Aggressive meta. I think that the guys who perform the best, besides Hancock's, if you look at like Hunter Nance and Will Coghill, they came out, and Masayuki Yamada in this is your top 4, not including Hancock's, all played like double aggro decks, and I think that's what let them like run away with this thing. is because the decks are so aggressive that it's really hard to answer both of them with like a counter aggro deck. Like I think in the 2-deck format, you can maybe make like one counter aggro deck, but I don't think you can realistically make two. And then I guess like these guys kind of gambled on that. Like a lot of these top players like to play like more control oriented decks, and they just went for it, man. And you can tell in some of the matchups, like some of these guys trying like to play like an honest game, and the game's over in like 2 turns because of the sheer level of aggro. So I think these were like really smart deck choices for this event, and it just shows like exactly how well prepared they were like going into it, man. It's so good. Like I love seeing like this level of like counterplay to it. And then what was the other thing you asked me to do? To go back and talk about like the decks in general?
Well, no, it was kind of like, do you think a more mid-range would have like been able to like snuff some of these things out? Like, because I think you said it too before, like when we were talking that the decks are either heavy control or like
So I noticed
right?
that. Yeah, I noticed that about this event specifically is that the decks like the players chose were either like deep control or hyper aggro, and there was like very little that was in the middle. So like Haragai is playing like a monsters deck, right? And like that monsters deck is like it takes a while to get going, but once you get going, you can do a lot, right?
Yes.
But your counter options to something like the mono ice deck that the NA players were playing, it's not great, right? Like they're gonna discard you fast before you can really do anything. So I think that was like an interesting part of it, and a lot of the players whose list we don't see are the players who like they were running like at least one deck where it was very deep control, but they just could not keep up with the aggro of these other decks.
Yeah, my money was on Kurosawa again, and I think he also fell victim to that, right? Like I think he had control decks.
Yeah, so like a lot of stuff that we've seen like pop up at events here that's more common, things like Soiree, right? Which people still play that. It still works. It has a high burst count. You have access to Amaterasu and Mist Dragon in the deck. You can do a lot with that deck. We don't see that here at this event because it's probably like just too fair. And it would have been a really good counter, I think, to some of these like more aggressive strategies.
Yeah, I was actually surprised no one played Soiree, but I don't know. Maybe we're just used to seeing it too much at our locals always.
I think
it never really dies.
It's too high range, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't find the Shinji, you're screwed.
Yeah, that still goes back to like you have to have the jobs in order for it to be efficient. And in a deck versus like it's gonna either take your resources out of your hands or just deploy a shit ton of forwards very early on. They don't have time for that.
I mean, that's where their burst comes in, right? Like, hopefully, that like to level out that. But you're right. It might not have been.
Burst doesn't like do anything if it's something that you don't have the job set up, like an Albus and Vesvia ain't gonna do anything for you. And if you're bursting to get a backup, it's like that still doesn't feel good, right? Because then you still have to then take that turn to deploy the backup and then still get mollywopped on the back of your head for 7 points of damage.
Yeah,
which is what we had talked about the other day at locals, is that the most pure form of aggro, like the best version of aggro, is discard aggro, because you present the forwards, but then at the same time you remove your opponent's ability to answer you in any way, and so even the bursts are like barely matter because they're going to need to like now find the backup to then be able to kind of set the next turn to then hopefully play whatever they top deck the turn after if they're not already dead. So it's not great. Discard is like the best way to keep your opponent completely locked out of the game.
Right. Yeah. And I wonder if going forward this next set will address what has come of this meta, right? Like I haven't tried the Gigawol deck yet, and I probably will before obviously before the next set or whatever, but like I wonder if it's that much, because Hancock's took this and he took Winter Cup at Wales with it, with like an updated version. Sergio, you've played it. How does it feel like?
Bro, funny enough, like I played like a few of the decks from Worlds, and of all the decks I played, I felt like it was the most fair. If that makes any sense, like it never feels like oppressive, right? Like when you play your opponent and you play turn 1 Rufus Rugagine, like that feels very unfair, and right away your opponent doesn't like you. But when you play like the turn 1 Wool, you play like Wool, and then it goes into like maybe a Zeromus and a backup. Like your opponent's okay with that. CP wise, you just like you made a huge play onto the field, but like they feels fair, right? Like the discard doesn't, and people don't like that. It's like the FF13, right? Like you die in like 2 turns, and no one likes that, but for some reason the Wool just does a ton of value play, like an unreal amount of value, but nobody gets upset about it, and it didn't feel unfair while I was doing it. But I could definitely see, like I could feel the way that the game was like running away from my opponent as they would try to like answer like the 2 or 3 forwards, and I'm literally just digging for like maybe like a Gilgamesh just to like close out the game when they're like not ready for it,
Right.
And I think that was a big part of the deck that when I first picked it up, I didn't realize like how much it is a Gilgamesh deck. Like you really are playing to try and get the 5 Gilgamesh attacks. I think it's 5, right? Yeah, 5 Gilgamesh attacks
3.
in 1 turn or whatever. Something stupid like that. Sorry, 3 attacks at 5 cards. I don't know. It does the thing. 3 attacks. 3 attacks with 3 Delph Freezes is what it is at 7 colors, right?
Before I hand it off here to Tacos, I really just wonder how long people have been holding on to that Gilgamesh, going, is this the card that's gonna bring it back, right? Like for me, I know that every time the set comes out, for example, if we're looking at Vayne, right? Every time I see a warp card, I go, man, I want to try Vayne again. That deck's gonna be cool, right? But how long have they been holding onto this Gilgamesh, or do they think about it the same way that I do about the Vayne or whatever, or every time you think of another Zach card, Sergio or Andy sees the next Titus, he's like, oh, this is gonna fit perfect into these decks. How long have they been holding this pocket like Gilgamesh? Because that was the last card I expected to see, honestly.
I can tell you they've been holding it since Opus 14 when it was printed.
Damn, you took my answer.
I got you.
Got him.
Too easy.
Damn, okay. Too easy.
Pow, pow, pow.
That's fair. Tacos, going to you now. What did you think about the decks? And second question is, you also very fond of one of the top cut decks.
Actually, I think we're gonna take a quick break, and then we come back.
Oh,
we're gonna have
yep,
tacos.
sorry,
Talk
2
about
hours. In 2 hours, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, quick break. I'm Emotempest, and we're the Triple Triad podcast. We'll be right back. But you're playing the Ice Water run, Yamada's, which is by far my favorite deck, I think. And then the Hider Guy Monster one is the second one. But how is it feeling to you? Go, Tacos.
All right, so I guess we'll talk about it. I really didn't want to say it on there, but I mean, we were doing it because we were trying to do New Game Plus, which I don't think I'm going to continue anymore.
Damn, you blew it.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it doesn't feel really good. The deck is really good. When I first played it, I think it's the surprise factor. Like, no one sees it coming, and like that's why he went undefeated with it in Swiss. It's like Sergio said, just opening up the Rugagine into Rufus is just very obnoxious. Like it doesn't feel good to do. Like I mean, like you're doing it to win, but like your opponent's not happy. We've had 2 occasions where like opponents were clearly not happy, and it's not really a good feeling. Like trying to keep the game around. It's not healthy for the game. Yeah, dude. Like. I don't know. These games were not tuned for Final Fantasy. They were tuned for Fast and Furious. So it was like Fast and Furious TCG play.
We're
It's
losing
still
people.
FFTCG,
Let me make a series about it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to, and I'm like,
here.
yo, this is not gonna work, dude.
You got discarded since turn 1 for all your resources. How'd that make you feel? Huh?
No, dude. Like,
We'll never
I'm gonna,
financially recover.
I'll put him out there. Like, I'm gonna put it out there. Like, playing against Lorenzo, I feel bad for him. You know, he's already quitting the game, and this is before I even did this to him. Yeah, dude. Like, he got. It was only 2 turns, and he scooped it up immediately. He didn't even want to play me again afterwards. So it's like,
How many? I hadn't gone back to watch it. How many cards did you leave him with, like, or whatever? What was the exact like?
All right, so
trigger?
I was turn 1, and again, I think this was week 1 of the deck, so it's not exactly the same. I went Argath, discard into Rugagine. It was 1 copy of each, by the way. So swing. He's already done 2 points. He sets up 2 backups. Following turn, I find the 1 Laswell. Just dull and freeze one of his guys. Give that haste. Swing. He's already
Discard.
at 5. Yeah, discard. He's like, nah, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah. That seems very.
That's not even a good start.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good start.
That's a bad start.
But yeah, I mean, like, you're already 5 damage turn 2. Like, all you've done is set backups. One of them is dull and frozen. Come on now.
For all of the listeners out there, are you playing this at your locals? Please leave it in the description. And if you are,
in the
has it
description,
affected-
go into edit and
edit our video.
in the comments,
Log into Emotempest's account with the password.
Actually, just go ahead and if you are playing this, just tell us now. We'll go ahead and unmute you so that you can say it on the podcast live.
Anybody want to chime in? No. Okay.
But-
Let me ask my mom if she's playing it. Give me 1 second, Mom.
But I mean,
Are you discarding anybody right now?
Yes, Andy, I'm discarding people.
Okay.
but I mean, like,
What
I think
turn is
that.
it?
Turn 1, of course.
Shit. Yeah, fuck. I feel bad.
But I mean, that's to be expected of like usually it happens like every first major tournament. It's usually aggro because people, like, you can't really control what you don't know what to control against, I suppose. It's a little different in Wills, but not as much. I guess people like adjusted to the aggro decks, and that's why, like, it's a little different. But I mean that's what I have to say about Worlds. It went by really quick. It's a lot of like wait time in between. But I mean, it was really cool to see the decks that we saw. Just wish we got to see like the rest of them, you know, not just like top 6.
Yeah, I think that was me too. I wanted to see more of the other ones. My last thing too is again, shout out to NA for showing up, the whole team, and I'm glad Hunter with his signature deck like got as far as he did. Because we all know he's been playing it forever, and I think a lot of us set fire aside. Tacos.
New Game Plus.
No, you just said it was canceled.
You're right, it is canceled now.
But it's back
I'll see you
again.
guys. No, I'll see you guys Saturday, bro.
Yeah, please
Oh,
stop
man.
playing the ice water deck. We need our people to keep showing up to locals.
But yeah, it's I don't know. There's a lot of things, and then Hancock also took. I guess he's known for wind as well, right? Like that's his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that those 2 players like took their decks all the way to the top as far as they did. So congratulations to both of them. You know.
Yeah, I don't think that was a pet deck thing. I think those decks also happen to be incredibly powerful.
No, I agree 100%.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure we're clear on that. Like he didn't take a homebrew. I mean, they probably are homebrewed, but I mean, they aren't just like casually like bad decks that they piloted really well. Like
No, I didn't mean that at all. No, I know that they,
No, that's what you meant.
decks.
That's what you meant.
No,
Oh, okay.
Put it in the description, okay, bro?
I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the title of the video.
New description plus. Got it.
Welcome to the Triple Description Podcast.
We're gonna burn out a scorched earth on all 4 of us right now. We're gonna make fun of each other right now.
This is what I bring them on for, to humble me.
Calling around the shenanigans, right? And speaking of shenanigans, Wales. There's a lot of shenanigans at Wales, right?
Yeah, we can. Thank you for that. That's a good segue into what we
Really good
do.
segue. Wow.
There was 119 players. They posted top 16 which is great. I got to see a lot more of what was interesting. I was watching the stream, and I think the one that caught my eye was the Firewater one, which is what I think is
Steve D's deck.
I think he was piloting, yes. But I think the guy Nicole or Nick, I don't remember his name was, but he jumped on after round 5 or 6, and he mentioned it was JFB's list or something that they're all playing or whatever. But I'm sure like there was 2 guys in top that have it, or 3, I think, only 2. But yeah, I think that deck is great. I like that. That's what they brought to answer what we assume is the meta, right? Like the Giga aggro or Giga Wool and stuff.
It's popular, and if it performed well in the grandest stage of this card game's life, then you would be dumb not to assume that it would be played at the Winter Cup that was being held shortly after.
Yeah, and so the deck, there was a Chaos guy there. Shout outs to Jonathan for trying that.
Chaos
and then there's
guy.
Save me Chaos.
Is he like knocking people's stuff over accidentally? He's very clumsy. He's like, oh, watch out, that guy's chaotic. Oh, sorry.
And then someone took mono water to a Giga Wool water, which is cool too to see. Might have to try that later.
Now you're bringing water to Wales.
I think they were in Cardiff. Cardiff is in Wales.
Am I not muted?
No. It is Cardiff. Yeah.
I love that it's called Cardiff, games. And they play cards there. I think that's really great. So shout out
to the segment where we do terrible
shout out
jokes.
to the guy. Shout out to the guy who named that city.
Dad puns.
It's really good.
My dad's.
But we saw some of the other stuff. Some of the other decks that we, the Wolves, and we have the what was it again? There was no fire. Nobody played Megissa here, which I'm surprised about too, because I know there's some. I guess UK players, right? Or
maybe they went with a game plan to just counter, right?
Yeah. So I saw on the stream some people played Megissa.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they were getting beat up by these Firewater deck.
Yeah, the Firewater deck does really good to answer that. I think.
Yeah, I think it was like specifically made to counter like that style of deck.
And it works actually. I think I
played it
quite well. I played it over the weekend. And yes, I know I didn't play against Megissa, but I can see, why it answers it. And he played me with the
played it against the here's Porum. Good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna ping Megissa. No, you're not.
But what do you guys think about these decks, right? Like how did Giga Wool really just stomp 2 metas? Like, is that how it is? Is this the best deck? Do you think this really is the best deck to win 2 high level events? I'll start with Tacos.
I mean, it's consistent in what it does. It, just pumps out forwards, and I think, like Sergio said, you're basically just waiting to clear up the game with the Gilgamesh. It's not that hard to do. It seems, again, like it's just efficient in what it does, and that's what you really want, right? Like in a long event, you want something that's efficient, and it's good in like most if not every matchup.
Good and consistent.
Yeah. Sergio said he's the guy with the finger on the pulse, right? Like he's the one that was piloting. He says that's the one that felt the most fair. So imagine doing something that if you're playing like an older version of a deck or whatever, like an Opus 20 deck, something that's not tailored to like deal with this sort of just pop off, right? It's like the fairness of the Warrior of Light deck is still far beyond unfair of what the fairness of a previous deck would be doing. So if he went up against anybody like that, obviously he just like destroyed them and just like easily got to the top, right? Like he got through. I don't think he got through Swiss without an issue, right? Or he didn't go. Did he go undefeated?
He went undefeated.
Yeah. Okay,
The only one to take a game off of him was Steve D, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, but if you said like you said, if it's still doing like if it's fair but unfair because it's consistent, then yeah, of course. And this guy being on it, it's just like, why not, right? Give a good driver and a fast car, you'll see he'll make it to the top.
It's not even like consistent. it's like a machine. Like it's perfectly efficient in that like you actually can't miss it. Like in this deck, you run 3 copies of Arya 3 and 3 copies of Sarah FFL, and then 3 copies of the 7 CP Warrior of Light that you want to play. Your odds of being able to play that on turn 2 the latest are so high that it's basically always going to happen.
Yeah,
Like
which is
always.
how like
Yeah.
a lot of these decks are made, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like no
Yeah.
longer long gone are the days of like, oh, you needed 16 backups or something to make a deck efficient. No. Keep it to what it needs to do, and then just kind of go from there. Normally, like the sweet spot has been around like 11 to 12. I mean, that's if you need to like have like 3 backups. But if you really just need to find like a searcher or something, it's like here's 9 backups. Good luck.
Yeah, and like these guys are running 14 backups. Like Mr. Cool's version, he runs 14 backups in this deck, and all the backups are there to find the wall, and then the rest are just to be played off the wall. And so it's a very very cool, like very interesting way of like approaching like deck design and gameplay, and that like you're gonna have this play every time. So like everything is just there to like get the value off of wool. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but when you look at the math on wool, like it's unbelievably efficient. Like it's more efficient than if you were like if you turn 1 played wool for 8 CP, right? You're overpaying by 1 and you hit 2 of these 3-drop backups. Like it's actually more efficient than if you had just discarded 2 cards and played 2 backups. You actually end like with a better turn and with like an extra card in hand, and you still have the 9 CP Warrior of Light on the field.
Right.
It's pretty insane that aspect of it, right? Like if you can get the 2 draws off of wool, like off of the things that you play,
right?
And then the aggro perspective is also still really good too, right? Because if you go wool into like 2 forwards, you've like presented 3 bodies. And some of the things that they're trying to play off of wool will be like, for example, like Alphino would go search you another copy of wool where you now have protection for these forwards from abilities. And if you look at a lot of the lists they've been playing against, like a significant percentage of this stuff is ability targeting.
Yeah. The other combo that like I just like found interesting and that we saw like in the stream was that when it hits the Ferris, it also has that, kill your forward aspect. Like it has each one of the pieces that it can draw out kind of just sets up a different scenario for the deck. Yeah. And with the copy, the 4-color wolves, he has more S fodder, right? And it's just like,
oh wait, yeah, that's right. It's not even ability damage; it's also summons too. I apologize.
Yeah,
it's actually both. Like so, you're protected from everything.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the wool into Alphino, if they try to target your stuff, it's not going to happen. So now it's like you need to play a Toto. Well, nobody's running that right now, so you're perfectly safe.
And even if you do Toto, right? Like you use all your resources, and happens that they have another wool in hand, which chances are it's pretty good, right? It's like, okay, cool. I'll just do it again. It's not going to cost me anything. And then you're really far behind. I think that actually it's so bad to Toto. The first Warrior of Light drop. I don't know. It seems pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but sometimes you don't have a choice, right?
Yeah,
like
right,
if they drop you 3 forwards on turn 1, you're like,
yeah. What do you do?
I like Shinryu as an answer to it, right? Because they'll go for the 3 forwards, and then you can get the Shinryu off for 2. It feels a little bit better. You get to keep the forward out.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Another piece of that deck that's insane that we haven't mentioned is Akstar. Which if you look at the results from like the Worlds decks, it's in that deck and it's in the Magissa deck, in those like 2 top performing decks. That Akstar is unbelievably good card. And every time that you play it in against somebody while you're playing this deck, it feels like you're cheating.
Don't freeze pink. Actually, my MVP of the deck. I mean, yes, of course, Akstar is up there. Personally, I like that they're using the Onion Knight because it has job Warrior of Light.
Because it's a lightning card.
It's no, because I love Onion Knight. I think Onion Knight as a character is fucking amazing. But the design of that card fits so well in there because it has the bounce ability, or it has like the kill if it's been damaged ability, right? It can replenish itself for 1 CP if it dies. So like it's hard to remove, right? But that whole bouncing thing is just like it's gonna get rid of. Usually, was it Yuzuki that was causing a lot of the issues? Like was walling the whole deck in the first place.
Yeah, because it's all ability damage. Yuzuki messes it up.
Yeah, which is so sick because then if you high roll into you Warrior Light and you get the Ferris into the Onion Knight, oh dude, this is fucking removal for days. It's so good.
Shout outs to Yuzuki and
Yuzuki just being like that's the counter, right? Like that's like how you kind of like not die to their board clear.
But I was also gonna say Celestia for like finally showing up in these decks. They're both from Opus 13, and like I know Celestia's an L, and then Yuzuki's what
and they
are.
Yeah.
She's an R, actually. She's just an R, but she feels like an L. Like it's crazy.
We've seen them in in a few decks here and there over the last couple sets and stuff like that, but now they're really like showing up.
Yeah, came and went in like the Knights when Knights was really like popular to play, right? When we were first getting our feet wet in multicolor stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just found the home in Magissa.
It's always been a one of in Magissa. Yeah, it's always been like a one of or something.
Says you. I played 2 of it. Oh man, you get you can mess with the numbers, but yeah, man. Yeah. Overall, I think we're all really impressed with the Warrior of Lights deck, and surprisingly that nobody in NA had it. So that was just some like really close to the chest info that wasn't getting released anywhere. That we were friends.
Apparently, it's from Japan. Like Hancock had mentioned in an interview that he had picked up the list when he got there from one of the Japanese players.
Oh yeah, he did say that, and then he realized
he had to like cobble it together like last minute because he had never played it.
Damn, dude, he got the fucking secrets. He infiltrated Square Enix's base, the motherland.
casually won Worlds with it.
He just walked in there, grabbed a piece of paper. What's this? Secret wall recipe. Went back to his place and put that shit together. What a chat.
He must have done. It was a side quest that he didn't realize he was doing, and he found it. Like secret wall recipe.
Oh man, yeah. I'm all walled out though. I can't talk more about that deck. We know it's good. What else is there?
Fair.
What else is happening in the world of Final Fantasy?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that was it. There was some, they're still playing that Scion deck too, which I think, again, the last thing I'm going to say about the Wales one on my end is that it had a little bit of everything that we've seen over the last 2 sets, right? So we have the Giga Wool, which one? We have the new Fire Water that is supposed to counter these. It has just 4-color. What is this? This is the Wolves, the Warrior of Lights with the King package, which I love, by the way. Claris into Edgar and Edgar into what's his name, King Tycoon or whatever you pick. And then there's Mono Water, and then there's even a 6 deck here. I think I saw. Yeah, there's an FF6 deck. It had a little bit of everything, which I think is just cool in itself to see that all of these decks are still like relevant in their own regard. And I already mentioned the guy playing Chaos Arc or whatever, Earth Water Chaos Arc. But yeah, that's all I'll say to it. Serge or Tacos, any other thoughts? Or Andy, any other thoughts on this?
Wave goodbye to that atrocious. No, just kidding.
No. Before we just move on, really.
Yes. I'm good.
Well, I'll say about this event is that it's a really interesting pivot to like more mid-range decks, which like we just saw how like crazy aggressive that meta was at Worlds, and so now we're starting to see Control like make its comeback, right? Like there's even Mono Water here in the top 8 at Cardiff, like, which I'm shocked that you didn't mention because you love Mono Water so much.
That was the first thing I said.
Is it the first thing you said? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Maybe not the first thing, but I did say that there was.
If you heard John mention Mono Water, go ahead and put it in our description.
There's 2. So in top 8 there's 1, which is the more traditional one, and then in top 16 there was the Giga Wool one, which we saw, which is at the bottom.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting too, because Water has so many good 3-drops.
I'm gonna start taking shots every time I hear Giga Wool.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
I won't say that. I won't say it.
Okay.
I will say 7 CP Opus 21 Warrior of Light every time for you guys.
I'll still take a shot.
Damn it. They played that light card.
I'll still take
Nope.
it. Tacos, what about you?
Take
Any
shots.
last thoughts on this one, or any thoughts on?
No, I mean this one seemed a lot more, let's say, balanced, or like a lot more variety in this one. Wasn't just completely dominated by aggro players adjusted, so pretty much it.
I want to go ahead and take this time to go on a quick break.
No way.
But before we do, I'd just love to give a quick shout out to Jason Toro.
Jason Toro.
Can't
wait to see you
again.
This
break has been brought to you by Jason Toro. One hell of a guy.
Hit him up.
Okay, I have one last thing about this. I got to put this out there.
Do it.
Hancock's winning this event with an aggro deck is the scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like,
why would he do?
Because it was safe in Europe, knowing that the European players were going to always be on super slow control decks, and like now having Hancock's learn aggro and be an aggro guy, I think that we're all in grave danger. Nothing's safe anymore.
Don't go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not safe to come out.
Don't sleeve those cards anymore. Don't sleeve up anymore.
Yeah.
You gotta go double sleeve to local.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to Cardiff.
5 forwards onto the field. I'm so scared.
Yep.
Yeah, what?
There you go.
Well, thanks.
Right,
thanks for making me scared now.
You're welcome.
For giving us nightmares tonight, yeah.
Good luck trying to sleep, boys.
Yeah.
All right, now onto a different kind of meta, which I never really dove into myself, but I know Sergio here is a big advocate for the title. Sergio just won the, I guess, title champion.
Wow. He sets you up so he can knock you down. He goes, "Oh, we have the greatest champion of title ever. I think it's title. I don't know." It's like his best Trump impression, right?
He's the current title holder of title.
Yeah.
A lot of people play title. Nobody plays title like we do.
Yeah.
The Cheer Series title.
He's like, Sergio,
tournament.
he plays title. I don't play title. Fucking titles for losers. But he did it. He's the best loser of title that I know.
Wow.
Shout out to Trump.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We're gonna have to start over here.
That should be the name of the episode. The name of the episode. Shout out to Trump. Shout out to Trump.
Yo, if Trump played fftcg, he'd be a cheater.
Yeah.
Hillary, she played the Gigawall on me.
Check the sleeves. Check the sleeves. Illegal.
Wow.
She had the Axe Star every time. Every time.
I said, Hillary, when are you going to change the sleeves? I changed my sleeves.
These are very good. Keep going, please, because I can see it. It's all happening in my head right now. Like, we have the best deck.
I've been told by people who build decks, people who know decks, that we have all the best decks.
I would know. I played them all. I know all the best decks. I played the best decks. I'm part of the best deck. I talked about the best deck. But sadly, a bunch of cheaters took me out of the game because they didn't handle the best deck that I knew that I had.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So much.
No, I can't wait until we have limit break cards, and I'm gonna grab them by the sideboard. Absolutely.
All right, sir. Tell us about your about the title format, man. Give us your rundown.
All right, so the rundown. We had if you've played online at all, like the webcam events, White Mage had been running the Cure series for a little while, and the Asuna series he had run alongside of it would be the title version of Cure series. And then he's been on a bit of a hiatus, and so Xavier was kind enough to take over and run a series for us, both in Cure series, which is still running, and Asuna series, which is over now. And so the Asuna series, I was able to win it, and it was a lot of fun. Like I love playing Title. I guess I'll tell you the backstory of how I got into it is that like I always get bubbled out when we go to Orlando for the Materia Cup, and the year before it was for what was that event called?
Your re-raise series, re-raise?
Re-raise, yeah, re-raise, right? So like both of those, I like bubbled out of day 2, and so then day 2, like Lockwood is always kind enough to run a title event, and that's when I kind of got into it because I got to play like FF7, and I'm a big FF7 fanboy. And so then I started getting into title, and it was just a ton of fun. I really liked doing it. And so when this guy set up the series, I right away jumped into it, and I played FF7 through all of the Swiss rounds, and then for Top Cut, I switched to Category 6. And that was like, it was crazy. It was great. Like I gotta say, title at first people hated it because it felt like so unbalanced. And the weird thing now is that like it actually doesn't feel that unbalanced compared to standard. It's yeah, I know that's a bold statement. The interactions that you get in title are different. In terms of like you can do things that obviously you can't do in standard because you can have like 2 of the same name character out on the field. But actually none of it feels completely oppressive. For example, like Rufus Ruggagene, right? You obviously can't do Rufus Ruggagene in title. So there are very few like turn 1 title plays that feel as bad as getting Rufus Ruggagene.
Okay.
Or for example, like if your opponent like plays like a turn 1 Griever on you, and then the next turn they hit you with like the Rosa or whatever, and they're doing the double discards on you, like that doesn't happen in title. So right now, like the title things, I feel like some of the best decks they build up to it. So like in my Category 6 deck, you can play multiple copies of Locke and multiple copies of Celis, right? And that was some of the stuff that felt best. Right, so like you could play the lock that lets you start doing like the reveal and pick up the top card, the 5 CP lock, which is a staple now in the standard version. But then you can chain off into the other versions of lock, and then use the 2 CP Celis to give them all haste, right? But that's not an easy thing to set up like on turn 1. It requires a few turns of playing backups to then get to that point. So I felt like most of the games were more mid-range type games versus in standard. A lot of the stuff we've been seeing is aggressive.
Huh. I do like that sounds like the
actually
just drops less.
Yeah, so actually Travis recorded the finals. I got to play against Ketchmatch, and he was playing a pretty aggressively leaning FFBE deck, where his like main goal was to play either L or the Earth guy Durando
yeah.
on turn 1. And so he wanted to play those out early on turn 1 and try to like create pressure to get like the extra draws and really start going like very aggressive. Yeah. So his was the most probably the most aggressive deck I played against in the series. And it was tough. He if you can watch the finals, obviously spoiler alert, I got it, but he took a game off of me in there, and you can see the game ends in like 2 turns. It just I had no answer for his early aggression.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones? You said like that was the most aggressive, but what are some of the other like big ones that people gravitate to normally? I guess.
Well, strangely enough, like nobody played it in this series, but I think Category 13 is a big one that you can play. That's hyper aggressive in that format. That would probably be one of the decks where I'd say like is more aggressively unfair compared to standard, because you can just play like 4 different versions of lightning, and if you play the light one, on turn 1, you can deal like 4 damage and draw 2 cards on turn 1. It's very aggressive.
Wow.
But it's also like it's easy to get cleared. Like I think Title has also some really good, like really interesting clears that you can do that you don't see as much like in standard. Like I was playing the category 7 deck through through all of the Swiss rounds.
Right.
And so for example, I could play like 2CP Tifa, right? So in Title, the rules for colors are that you don't have to pay for colors.
Unless it's for abilities, right?
Right, exactly. Unless it's the ability specifically printed on the card. So for the cost, like for example, a Fire Earth Tifa, 2CP Fire Earth Tifa, you could literally just discard a card to play that Tifa. So if an opponent like played like hyper aggressive against me, I could play Tifa, search for a cloud, play anything else, which all my Avalanche operatives, the forwards are reduced by having the Tifa on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could play the Wind Lightning Cloud, which can break 2 things. And you wouldn't have to pay color. So you could, by the time you've casted enough things, you just discard a card and play the Wind Lightning Cloud. And so now you've got bodies on the field, and then you've got removal off of that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So like same thing I can do actually with the Cat 6 deck, and it's why I played both of these decks actually, because these are like 2 of my favorite cards. In the Cat 6 deck, you can play 8 CP Lock, and you can also search for it using Celis, and obviously the Gestalian Empire Sid. There's a bunch of searchers in that deck, and there's a lot of cycling as well, so you can go into that combo and kind of stave off like early aggression.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get into this Title format, bro.
It's a lot of fun, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. Actually, like it is not completely busted. It is not. I will definitely say that, and it could also be because so few people play it. There's probably like the Matiskis of the world haven't sat down to like crack that format wide open. So it feels definitely like you can be more creative right now because everybody's just homebrewing. There's no that when I went to build my decks, there was not really any data I could pull from. I really just tried to build them off what I thought might be a good idea.
That sounds and that's cool too. Like you're always in uncharted territories, which sounds exciting to me.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. And so, what was the main reason from switching to 7 to 6 in the top cut? Like, was there something for that, or did you just want them to not know what you were playing?
I'm sure. No, it was more so because I played against FF6 twice in Swiss, and both opponents had told me that like they this is really funny, but they had actually accidentally signed up for the title series, and so they played me with like almost standard versions of Cat 6, and they weren't really like 100% on the rules of title.
Oh,
and
I see.
and the games were really close. And so then the wheels started turning. I'm like, okay, this deck is actually really good, and if I tune it like to be title specific, I think this might be like the way to go for top cut, because Cat 6 has like really good anti aggro, but it also has really good like aggro as well, right? Like you can produce bodies really well while at the same time keeping the field under control. So that was the reason for the switch.
That's cool. All right. I don't know anything else you want to say about the Asuna Cup or title at all. Something for the listeners.
No, I just want to say thanks to Xavier for running it, and I hope we get to keep doing more of these webcam stuff. The webcam thing is a blessing when you have children at home and it's hard to travel.
Yeah. You also, it's funny that we just bring up the webcam thing. We also do the main deck. I think you won that too, right? It hasn't been announced yet, but you got 11 wins out of 12.
I did this time, yes.
Yes, congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
I think with the exception of Tacos, because he doesn't webcam as much, we all won one season or whatever. Not this year. I won last year's end of year one, and then you guys each got one this year. Andy got first one, I think.
Yeah, I like main deck. Main deck's fun. It's very casual, but it's a good opportunity to get a chance to play in your downtime because you can find matches whenever you're available. So It's nice. It would be good to have more people in there, so it'd be easier to find matches. So if anybody wants to join, it's actually free. So you guys should check it out.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the description.
In the description or in the comments? Which one?
Both. We can do it both.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. I started playing it because Stefan invited me to it or whatever. But I liked it because I play it people from different regions too, which gives me more insight to like how they, build or what they gravitate to. And honestly, most people are usually trying stuff out, and like I've kind of fallen into that now too. And this this one was not good for me. I think I only got 9 out of 12. I lost 3 games. I dropped 3 games.
I play a lot of German people.
Yeah. There's a lot of Germans and Canadians in there, and a few NA, and yeah, they're very interesting. Like playing them and talking with them and stuff. I think there was someone from, I don't know if he said Malaysia or Indonesia once, but he was cool peeps too. And we had a blast. So now I know more people across the world, which is nice. Which is always something.
Becoming more famous.
Not yet.
Not yet. This.
Oh no, he's gonna do it. He's gonna show skin on the podcast.
Oh, we're turning this into a video podcast.
Was the Trump segment not hot enough for you? Like we need more insanity
now.
If
we didn't lose viewers then, you're definitely losing them now.
It's getting cut, but I don't want.
No, I worked so hard on that.
Oh my god! You know what you can't cut though? This next shout out to Jason Toro. Jason Toro, bro, it's a shout out to you, brother.
He cut it. Actually,
no. Jason Toro's actually on the main deck team. He does the FF stuff for them, which is cool. So yes, shout out to Jason Toro.
Really?
Yeah.
Good job, Jason Toro.
Look at you go.
Bro. I told you.
I got it. Tacos hit us with the meme now. Good job, Tacos. Oh no, never mind. Tacos is in the bathroom again.
I am not.
Tacos is cheering. The bring it on cheer for Jason Toro. It says, "Brr, it's cold in here. Tacos, there must be some Toro in the atmosphere."
Tacos, why haven't you shout out Jason Toro yet? That's what I want to know.
Go Toro, bro.
Thank you.
Sorry, bro. No, because I got my daughter, bro. She's like waking up every now and then. So.
Oh no. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up.
She's gonna sneak peek to this fire ass podcast.
She's gonna boost the numbers because no one wants to listen to me. Anyway, no. All right. Then let's wrap it up. Then let's not wake up any more kids tonight. We're gonna end this podcast with something fun. Let's do New Year's resolutions. Anybody? Is that a thing anymore? Does anyone still do these? Tacos. What about you, bro? What are you feeling is your calling in 2024?
Well, I mean, I think we've already started at the end of the year, but we're recruiting more players, bro. We got to get more players, even though it's at another store. The hope is to like get the stores together, do some sort of like big event. I know you've been trying to do that for like some time, so
yeah, that's always the goal. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if we can get like a big Florida event to happen, that'd be nice. So we got to start small, but we can't play these super aggro decks. So
yeah,
baby steps.
Baby steps. Yeah. And that is cool. I do like the progress you guys have been making. I don't know if anybody else listening just has the issue you're maintaining your numbers. I know some stores are more than others, but yeah, we've been struggling to fire at 6 period for a few months now. I know the holidays is always tough, but Tacos is doing God's work trying to find people.
Yeah, dude. It's hard for me because like I moved like away from these guys. It's like an hour and a half for me now to come see these guys. Or like 50. I still show up. Because that's how much I love this game. I love you guys. I don't think I'm leaving that anytime.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm not leaving this game
It's
anytime.
too real in here. I'm gonna cry.
Nah. This game's given so much to me. It really, the game has given a lot to me, like the people I've met and everything. So whatever. So, and if I could help it grow, like, it's nice. So
that's what she said.
I guess. I don't know.
Way to class it up, John.
Before I pass it over to the next New Year's resolution, speaking of big events, Tampa's having a case tournament at the end of January 28th, I believe it was. We're hoping
GamersCommand.
GamersCommand. What did I say? Tampa? That's the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's in
just wanted
Tampa.
to shout it out so they know where, so they
yes.
can go. So they can go.
Yes, I was gonna get to that. Yes, but yes, GamersCommand is hosting a case tournament, which we're excited to try to make. Hopefully, Sunday's rough, but we're gonna do our best.
Yeah,
like always.
put the link in the comments or description, whatever.
The title.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the mail so you guys can get it eventually.
Nice.
Yeah. But go ahead. Who's next? Andy. New Year's resolution. What's your call?
Yeah, that's beautiful, Tacos, man. I love you too. It's cool to always have you there. To kind of piggyback off what Tacos said about the numbers thing, I want to quit Final Fantasy.
Oh my God.
I think I'm kind of done with it. Like,
can we take a break now?
Oh yeah, let's quit straight to a commercial break. Brought to you by Jason Toro.
Jason Toro. No, that's a cliffhanger. We're just gonna call it here. No, for Andy, what's up? Are you quitting? Oh, you're gonna stop playing the games over again. That's fair. I understand. But cards are forever. Got it.
That's it.
He's quiet quitting.
I'm quiet quitting. Not playing decks, or at least I'm playing them improperly. And if I don't get caught, well, whatever. I'll just keep going. I don't know, man. I don't see myself changing anything up about the game, at least for how I'm enjoying it. So yeah, you can always count on my attendance. But actually, I do want to start like reviving my Twitch channels a little bit more because you guys are getting super excited for Tekken 8.
Yes.
I would also like to participate in the hypeness, and I think I'll be playing it more than just a month that you guys are hyped for it. But I want to do some other stuff on that thing too. So I want to just definitely like breathe some life into it. I did get my hands on some new video games, some video games for Christmas. Yeah. Right now I'm playing that Strangers of Paradise, which is extremely fun. And so, maybe you have a little bit more of a online presence. I know you guys are, have your YouTube channels, but I think I want to do that. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm going to try season 14 of League of Legends. I want to try playing it, having fun with it, not feeling anxious about my performance on it. Just that I want to be like super casual, like not looking to like jump on rank or anything, but at least get good, right? I just want to get good.
We'll never be ranked duo partners. I hate that.
Yeah, no, our chemistry just doesn't work. I mean, you refuse to learn the game, and I think I'm better than what I think I actually am.
Oh, that's true.
The dynamic duo.
Yeah, for real. So there's that. So yeah, I guess it's just play more video games. Wow, who would have thought? I've been doing that for so long, but I always want to do more of it. But this time I want to just have a little bit more of a online presence and do a little more variety. But I think the main focus would be League of Legends, Final Fantasy, Tekken, and then
we're traveling for Tekken tournaments.
Huh?
We're traveling for Tekken tournaments.
Look, we actually do have a good scene, a fighting game scene down here, and if we ever want to do like go to a locals for a Tekken tournament or something, that'll be awesome. I encourage everybody to consider that.
Yeah, just to wet our feet, right?
No, what do you mean? Get our faces in the just drown, bro. Not just the feet.
Hey, I've gone to local Street Fighter tournaments and I've done pretty well.
I'm gonna take you to the swamp, bro.
We've never done fighting game tournaments.
Oh, really?
Not really.
They're fun. You get to take your own controller.
Yeah. BYOC, bro.
Yeah, and it's actually you think you get nervous sitting in front of somebody to play cards. Wait till you get on there and like you have to play your fighting games and you forget all your combos. And you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Bro, what's the lag, bro?
I gotta learn a new character, bro. Fucking Lay's not there no more. Yeah, learn. Pick up someone new.
And there's only 4 characters coming onto the season pass apparently, so it's like the chances are slim. Christy's coming back or Eddie, so that's 3 pretty much left. But okay, Andy, that's exciting. I do miss your streams. I won't lie. I do enjoy your banter and your horror stuff. So
you don't sound excited. You sound reluctant.
What now?
No, his horror stuff. His Resident Evil.
Oh, okay.
He was my Resident Evil guy.
Oh, I still play a lot of Resident Evil offline.
Yeah, offline.
Like a gratuitous amount of Resident Evil. Too much Resident Evil for the casual person to like consider healthy.
Right. Okay. Well, still very exciting. Can't wait. Sergio, New Year's resolution, bud. What you got for us?
I guess my FF related New Year's resolution is to win a major. So I'm also in that camp with Andy of people who think they're good and they're not that good.
Than they actually
yeah, people who think they're better than they actually are. That's my goal. My goal is to win a major.
That's good, right? That's good. Really self-realization. I'm
there. Yeah. It's not gonna happen, but it's the resolution.
Bro, I've seen you trip over yourself thousands of times, and then you're like, "Oh, bro, it's because of this meta."
I can't even walk up the stairs in my house. How am I supposed to win a major? But it doesn't matter. It'll happen.
Okay.
He hasn't seen the upstairs of his house in years.
I just trip all the time on the way up. You know.
You should really work on your balance.
Yeah. In card gaming and in life, very zen. Thank you, Emotempest, for that piece of wisdom.
Mr. Miyagi.
And then non-FF related, since Andy gave us some good stuff there on fighting games, I would like to learn how to play fighting games because I thought I was pretty good at Super Smash, and it turns out every single person who plays at our locals is better than me.
Except me.
Well, I mean, we only played like one game, so we haven't verified it. But like, I lost stocks to like my 5-year-old daughter, so it turns out I'm actually not that good. I'm actually terrible at fighting games, and all you guys are so good, and it's like comes so naturally. So like, I'm very interested to kind of learn a little bit and catch up at least. I don't have to be as good as you guys, but I'd like to catch up at least.
I have to try to sing some Tekken.
I can respect that. Don't want to get mollywopped anymore. That's cool.
John, what about you, buddy? What's your New Year's resolution?
I got a big one. I think I'm gonna.
Number one, he's gonna move.
You wish
he's gonna move.
You wish you had a big.
Damn,
he's gonna move all the comments from the descriptions down to the actual comment sections of his.
So 2023, I traveled a lot for this game, and it was great and it was amazing, but it was a little more taxing than I thought, right? And so I think I'm going to travel less for the game, but doesn't mean I won't be involved. I want to be part of the streams more and maybe commentate a little bit more this year. I'm going to dip my feet into that. So as I'm going to continue making content, obviously, but we're going to be part of the scene more. I'll even try to post on Facebook every now and then. I just normally don't gravitate to Facebook, so I will try to make make more engaging posts there, just so you guys can, the community knows more about me and who I am, and so I can get more involved in that regard. And then if I make it to Worlds or if I make it to Nationals or we do good this year, that's fine too. That's also always a given, right? But I think we're not going to travel to 8 different events or whatever this year.
You say that now.
You say we, but
oh yeah, this is it's not going to hold up well.
We'll see. We'll
circle back to this one next year.
Yeah.
We'll see how we did.
We'll see how we did. And non-FF stuff. What is it? What did I have planned? I think it's just more creativity, right? Like, I'm working on side projects that they're, I guess, sort of FF related, but they're mostly for me that I want to, use my degree in something because I don't now at work. So I have a, bachelor's in fine arts and computer animation, and I don't. I use it for.
Wow.
I use it. I use it for YouTube thumbnails.
Fine degree that is.
Exactly. I use it for YouTube thumbnails, but I want to do that and hopefully use that to help promote the game in a weird way. So I think you guys, I'm going to take some time to do that during the next couple months. So content might be slow, but it's going to be, I think it'll be worth it, what I want to dish out. So I hope you guys can look forward to that.
Wow.
Damn,
I'm staying tuned.
Yeah. Well, that's it then. This is our 2023 wrap up, our final FFCCG podcast for the year. If you guys are listening to us before the countdown, or I guess you tune it after the countdown, that's fine too. So, I hope you guys had a great holiday and a happy New Year.
Gigawatt.
The Triad's back, and we're here to podcast. Ayo.
The Triad's back. No.
Yeah, that's pretty good.